Join us on a journey through Cornwall's greatest gardens.
The whole point about the Great Gardens of Cornwall is they show off the best of what Cornwall has got to offer.
I think Cornwall is probably the finest garden county in the country.
People often ask what makes a great garden great, and what we concluded, what people want to see and are interested in, can be extremely varied.
Each one of the gardens has got its own personality and individuality. When you walk around the gardens, none of them feel the same. They've all got a different vibe and feeling.
What could be more different than the garden at the Minack Theatre? How huge a contrast that is to our old established woodland gardens like Cahays or Tregothon or Trewithen, and how different again Heligan as a rediscovered new garden, or the Eden Project. They all have claims to fame, and the whole point is they're completely different. We have a unique record at Cahays, which started in 1897, and it's a large book with one page for every day of the year. And over the last 4 generations, my family have written what they found and saw in the garden. So actually we have a really staggering record of more than 100 years of what has actually been going on in the garden.
Tresco Abbey Garden is almost unique in the way that it's been run by one family for now, what is now 6 generations. Over the last 35, 40 years, it's been my passion. There's no other garden like it in Britain. It's the only garden of its type that can consistently grow tender plants outside in really quite difficult conditions. And so all these plants come from these Mediterranean climate zones, and that's my passion and that's the garden's passion, and so the two go together very nicely. Having been there so long, I like to think it's my garden, but I've also brought people with me. The present head gardener, he's a fantastic plantsman, his name is Andrew Lawson. We're almost like an old married couple, but he will carry on in the way that we both have together for many years.
In reality, you just take it day by day. We're not following the master plan line for line, we're actually taking it as inspiration and trying to move it forward for the future.
Well, I think with gardens that have a lot of history behind them, you've sort of got to appreciate the history and all of the work and time that's been put into the gardens, but also allow them to be accessible and easily understood by members of the public that come into the gardens.
I've been very lucky in the time that I've been at Treba to work under some extremely good head gardeners, so I gained a lot of confidence and experience of them, seeing the way they've managed the garden. But even now, even today, I can still walk into the garden and still have that sort of excitement and passion.
Having found the Moran, a great deal of hard work was required. All those years ago, it was a garden for the family, and it wasn't until later that we were persuaded to open for the public. I'm delighted to do that because I found at a very early age that sharing is absolutely important, particularly when it comes to gardens.
We were focusing on bringing together the world's greatest collection of economic botanic plants to show how dependent we were on the natural world, and no one had ever done it like that. We got lots of stuff to give you the sense of what the wild might be like.
Gardens and great gardens are all about continuity. They're about continuity of owners and continuity of great head gardeners. So there is a continuity in the sense that we're doing the same things in much the same way, but we've had the great benefit of seeing into maturity all these wonderful new plants that the great plant explorers brought into the country between 1902 and 1932.
Without the plant hunters, there was the early plant hunters, sort of the 1850s, went over to South America. But it was the real Chinese and Himalayan plant hunters from the 1900s to 1930s that influenced Cornish gardens. Without them, this garden wouldn't be what it is.
There was a revolution took place in the early part of the last century, and gardens became flooded with herbaceous plants and trees and shrubs in a way that no one could ever have envisaged.
After 30 years, what is rather nice is the modern day has come upon us. There's the wonderful Botanic Garden network. A lot of people have these wonderful Botanic Garden seed lists, and we all exchange seed. And then with other gardens here in Cornwall, that's always happening.
We call ourselves armchair plant hunters. We don't have to fly all around the world. It just opened up a huge library of plants We can contact different curators throughout the world and get how to grow those plants. So it just saves time and money, and you can increase the vast range of plants you grow. Sherwood have got one of the oldest collection of tree ferns, and you can walk down through them, you can look above them, and it's just a lovely maze of footpaths all the way around. You can lose yourself. You feel a little bit like Alice in Wonderland at times going through.
We have been the beneficiaries of receipt of this plant material. Well, goodness, we've made use of it. We've ensured that it is no longer at risk in the wild.
The Great Gardens offer a canvas for human expression. Everywhere you look, there are elements at play.
I tend to think of the formal designed garden as being a work of art. They've got a tremendous central conceit, which is that we're controlling nature. At Heligan and at Eden, you got this juxtaposition of the wild and restored right by each other.
Well, the guiding principles are of this holy trinity, as I put it, that the landscape, the planting and the artwork work together. If a work looks out of place, it's probably the wrong work in the wrong place. So the sculpture needs to look comfortable in its environment, comfortable in its setting. It has to work to earn its place.
The pleasure for me came from not just seeing plants, but seeing plants in a beautiful setting, or with man-made structures complementing, and I put it that way, complementing the planting.
I want somebody to walk into this garden and feel that they are seeing a beautiful painting, and harmony as well as emotion. Looking at a painting, often you feel huge emotion, and the same thing as a garden, it must have emotion.
Well, I like to think we're creating a real spectacle. We are a theatre, but you get a real sense of play before you get there. Because of our location with the sea and the views, we're so unique in that we've got this ability to create magic with the plants.
Art is a double-edged sword. If we lose our sense of awe and the miraculous and the wonderful of what a planet we live on, we're nothing. So the job of art at Eden is very much to excite conversation and excite awe.
Anthony Woodland Gardens' idyllic location makes it feel like a garden without an edge. They've created a space that helps you reconnect with nature.
Heligan is a very emotionally rich place. I would say that it is very probably the most romantic garden in the world. I really do not feel I own this place. I feel as if I am blessed to be a steward. It's not just plants, it's about life. It's about life and living life on a canvas that is emotionally rich. It's a place where you walk hand in hand. I once said that Heligan isn't a garden, it's a space in the heart. I truly believe that. Part of the arc and art of storytelling is to make people imagine they are part of something, and looking passively at a bunch of plants doesn't necessarily do anything except make you go ooh and ah. But to actually get a sense of what an entire geography is like is a very different experience. So our role is to be rock and roll horticulture, effectively. We need to know the science, but we need to tell the story in a way that people never forget. If we don't pass on great knowledge to the next generation, we've got a big problem. The great gardens of Cornwall, as we describe them, set out on a mission, yes, to draw attention to Cornwall, the geography, but the passing on of knowledge is utterly critical.
Well, I can speak from experience. I was 15 and I did my apprenticeship at the National Trust over at Trelissick, and Barry Champion, the head gardener there, inspired me, literally inspired me, and it was that spark. So you just need that spark. So if I can offer that to anyone else, then that's just a bonus. It's gone full circle as well then.
I think it's a really positive career path to go down into. Working with nature alongside working with a fabulous group of people really makes me want to stay part of that.
There's always something new and interesting, and that's the passion that I have for gardening and the passion that many gardeners get, because it's like it's collecting, and there's always something new and different and weird and wonderful. Then of course you've got the chance to hybridize it and create something completely new. That's really where the fun of it comes.
The Cornish are always reinventing. Tregothnan has taken 200 years of expertise with ornamental camellias and channeled that into creating the first English tea plantation.
We would like to safeguard the garden for various generations, and coming up with that sort of garden development plan and how we manage the garden and how people access it, I think is key for us.
The revolution that needs to happen in horticulture is respect. Every kid should know how to grow stuff. Those skills to be able to grow and actually create communities through being able to grow are going to be sensationally important. The saving of the seed is going to be really, really important.
Tragrain has centuries of history under its belt. Its temperate rainforest is a living green gene bank. The future conservation of this collection will be enormous for temperate regions worldwide.
One of the things we can do in the Great Gardens of Cornwall is preserve those species which are very rare in the wild. We can propagate them, we can grow them, we can distribute them. We can make sure that they're never going to die out in this country or in the gardens of the UK. And actually that is tremendously important.
We need to get back to a more natural state of living, and I think we, the Great Gardens of Cornwall, can lead in that way.
People say we can't adapt in time to do this, we can't save the world. Rubbish. We just need the stimulus, and I think the stimulus is actually the perfect idea of a no-waste society. We have a culture where we throw things away without knowing there is no country called away. There is no away.
The Cornish are very good at getting together, and that's what the Great Gardens of Cornwall has done.
I think we all do things slightly differently, but we all learn from each other.
It's what makes garden visitors to Cornwall have such a wealth of things to choose from. Spoilt for choice.